Ever wondered about a career in hospitality? Wondered what it's really like working in this exciting industry, what it takes to make it, and where that success can take you? Are you passionate about cooking but don't know where to begin? Well, our qualified chefs from Future Now's Hospitality Ambassador program can give you the inside scoop.
Hi, my name is Matt.
And I'm Chris, and we're Chef Ambassadors.
We both did our chef apprenticeships, so we're here to tell you about our story and cook a couple of nice dishes for you today. What are you going to cook for us, Chris?
So what I'm going to cook, it's a lamb dish, and I'm basically doing beetroot a couple of ways, potato fondant, and a sweet potato crisp.
Oh,
How about you?
That sounds great. I'm going to do a deconstructed lemon meringue pie to have after your tasty lamb dish.
Awesome.
and that way we can have a nice feast at the end of today. I've got to get started though, so I'm going to pop on an Italian meringue so it cools down nicely, and that way we'll be able to use it at the end of the session today.
Okay, and basically what I'm going to start with, I've got my lamb short loin here that we got from Mondo's Butchers. It's a really nice piece of meat. It's bone on, so obviously requires a bit of butchery skills. Yeah, so I'll just start butchering that. So where'd you do your apprenticeship, Matt?
I actually did my apprenticeship in Tasmania, after my apprenticeship in Tasmania, I moved up to Sydney and I worked over the Olympic Games period.
Oh,
and
really?
I had a great time in that city.
That's wicked.
Yeah. What about yourself? Where did you do your apprenticeship?
So I did my apprenticeship here in Western Australia at a restaurant called Fraser's. It's in Kings Park. It's right on top of the hill. It was a pretty good place to start. Learnt quite a lot. I started at quite a young age, so I left school at 15. Started my apprenticeship straight afterwards and completed January 5th this year.
So you finished quite recently?
Yeah, quite recently.
And started so young?
Yeah. So what are you doing now?
Actually, at the moment, I work for the Department of Training and Workforce Development. I work for the branch, which is Apprentice Centre. And at Apprentice Centre, we overlook the apprenticeship system. So although I've had a decent experience into the industry, now I look from behind the scenes and manage apprenticeship contracts.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's quite
So you
good.
would have signed me up?
Something like that, probably. Yeah. So what are the favourite things you like to cook?
Favourite things I like to cook? I like doing everything. I mean, I do have a soft spot for desserts. It allows me to just put a bit more attention to detail, a bit more time and love into it, whereas the rest can be a bit rushed. How about you?
Yeah, I like to do my desserts as well, believe it or not. So I was pretty lucky to be able to cook a lemon meringue pie today. I want to have a quick look at what I'm doing here. I'm just separating a few egg whites from the egg yolks. And in industry, we just crack the egg into the palm of our hands and let the egg whites fall through, and we catch the egg yolks.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's a good trick. Whoop, it's a good trick. I'll be able to use these yolks for later on today as another part of my dish.
So basically what I'm doing now with the lamb, just taking off the sinew. So the sinew's the like tough bit around the meat, and so it's just going to firm up in the oven, and it's what makes the meat chewy. So I'm just taking that off.
Sorry, I'm just going to prepare myself a sablé, so just stop talking for a second.
What's a sablé?
A sablé is a French butter biscuit. So in my French butter biscuit, I'm just going to grab a few ingredients for it. I'm going to use about 100 grams of butter. Just check that's 100 grams, which it is. And I'm going to use half a cup of sugar. Today I'm actually using a different sugar. It's a golden caster sugar.
Yep.
It's got more of a molasses taste, so it's a bit richer.
So it's going to add a bit of like a caramel base to it.
Yeah, a bit of a more caramel flavour to the biscuit.
That'll be really nice.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I've got a quarter of a cup of sugar there. I'm just going to break this up into, cut this up into little dices so I can...
So while he's doing that, I've got my beetroots over here,
Cream it.
and so what I'm going to do with this, I'm going to be making a puree. So this is one of my textures of beetroots going on the plate. So basically, I just peel the beetroot, and then I'll just roughly chop it up and put it in my water over there. So the beetroot will take about roughly 25 minutes to cook. And I'll just blitz that with a little bit of malt vinegar, salt, a little bit of butter. Butter just helps to richen the puree, and so that'll be going as the base of the dish.
That sounds so good. What I'm doing here with my sugar and my butter is I'm just creaming it. And what that does, it just breaks down those parts of the sugar and mixes it with the fat to make sure it aerates our end product. And it'll also turn the mixture a little bit more pale, but because I'm using the caster sugar that I am, it's not going to end up too pale.
That's
Just
good.
helps the sugar dissolve in that.
So what have you got going in the mixer over there?
Over there is just at the moment my 4 egg whites.
4 egg whites.
I'll be adding the caramel the caramel to it once that caramel reaches 116 degrees Celsius.
So over here I've just cut up my beetroots, put that into my pot of water. So I'll just let that come to the boil now. And then once that's cooked, I'll then blitz it.
Nice. I'm just adding some almond meal to my sablé mix there. That gives it a nutty flavour. It adds a bit of protein to the biscuit as well. But usually you just add the flour, but the almond meal is a really good substitute. I'm going to add half a cup of flour to that as well. Maybe a touch more.
So now what I'm going to do, I've got royal blue potatoes here. So that's going to be for my chocolate potato fondant, not chocolate. And yeah, so basically, because it's skin on still, just cut the edges off, because I'm going to cut it into a cylinder using a ring mold. So just cut those off. Got my ring mold here, and just push down with that.
How come you can use a ring mold? What does that do?
It just gives it the shape, so it gives it the cylindrical shape that I'm after. Just that.
Oh, that's going to present really well.
Yeah, so it will look nice, and then it just cooks really well in the oven.
Chris, I'm going to cheat. Usually when you'd make a biscuit base, you'd roll it up and cut this up. But today, because I'm not going to make any biscuits, I'm just going to use the biscuit crumbs for my dish. I'm just going to do a little trick where I'm just going to fold that in half on the greaseproof paper. I'm going to cook it as one big cookie.
One big cookie.
Yeah.
That sounds cool. I love cookies.
I like cookies too.
I prefer them when they're a bit gooey in the center though. I don't know, it's just how I am. So over here, I've got some pretty special beetroots. So they're called Chihuahua beetroots or heirloom, which basically means they're the origin beetroot. So as you'll see, this one's a candy stripe or the Chihuahua, and so basically it's just candy and striped the entire way through. So it's a pretty cool ingredient. You can buy it from the boat shed markets if you want. But yeah, I'm just using it as a garnish for the side, so I'll be shaving that and I'll put that in some ice water just to crisp up, and they'll look really nice and act as a garnish. So I've got my potatoes here. They're just cooking in the butter, so I'm just sealing them off to get nice colour on one of the sides. Just medium heat, and then I'll add some of my beef stock that we got from Mondo's.
My thermometer says that this is a soft caramel sauce now. So what I'm going to do is just watch you back there. I'm just going to take it around and start pouring it into my meringue I've got at the back.
Awesome. So my potatoes are starting to get a bit of colour. The reason why I chose Royal Blues is they're just a really diverse potato. They're basically the best all-rounder. Like, they're not too starchy. Yeah, they're basically just the best. Like, if you want to make nice chips at home or roast potatoes, the Royal Blue, it's pretty much the potato that has every different kind put into the one. So yeah. So now that they've got a nice colour, turn them over. I'll lower my heat. Just figuring out which one's which. And I'll put some of my beef stock into it. So the point of this is to pretty much braise the potatoes. The butter will emulsify into the sauce. You can use that as a sauce if you like on your dish. Yeah, so you do it so that it's about half covering the potatoes, and then you just put that in the oven and allow that to just slowly cook at about 180 degrees.
I'm going to start on my lemon mousse now. Chris?
How are you doing that?
All I'm doing is just going to grate off the rind nice and fine of one lemon. What I'm doing now is I'm just making, as I said, that curd. I'm using a panela, which is a sweet substitute for sugar. It's got more nutrients, a few more minerals than sugar. Having said that, no sugar substitute is going to be better for you, but this one here is
you can try.
An option.
You can try.
Yeah.
So that's for the mousse?
This is for the curd, this one, or the mousse, yeah.
Yep. So now that I got my beetroots going, my potatoes are in the oven, I'm going to start shaving my beetroots. So this is just the garnish, so that's why I've got these specialty beetroots in, the candy stripe, the white beetroot, the chihuahua. So this is just solely as a garnish. So I've got my mandolin here. This just allows me to really finely slice like whatever ingredient I want to a consistent level, and then I'll just put that in some ice water.
What will the ice water do?
So the ice water will just, it'll crisp up the beetroot, just give it a more presentable standard.
Nice.
Yeah, so it'll be really nice. So what else do you have left for your dish? What other garnishes do you have to make?
Today I'm going to actually use another biscuit based on my lemon meringue pie. Because we're under time constraints today, Chris, I brought a chill mix with me. So I'm going to try and sort that out later on today.
But so what consists in the chill mix? Like, what's the ingredients in it?
It's got a bit of egg whites, a bit of vanilla essence and butter, sugar and flour. So it's a reasonably basic recipe.
So I'm just washing some of the beetroots as they've got a bit of dirt left over on them. I'm leaving the skin on as, like, it does act as a texture component. Just helps, makes it nice. Just got to wipe down everything after I'm using certain beetroots because they just leave their colour everywhere and they'll stain everything. I mean, I'm wearing white, like that's not the smartest thing when working with beetroot. Surprised I'm not purple already.
To get a bit of that flavour into my lemon mousse, looking about a third of a cup from 2 lemons.
Yep.
And I'm just going to sift that in through my water just to get those seeds out. Because of the corn flour that I put in here with the panela, I'm just going to loosen it up a little bit. By adding it all, I might get lumps, so I'm just going to
So how long
make a
does
bit of a
your
slurry.
meringue need to whisk for?
That Italian meringue will whisk until it's at room temperature.
Okay.
So we're looking at about 10 to 15 minutes, so it's
Yep.
probably ready. It'll be ready, I reckon, when my sablé is ready to take out of the oven.
Awesome.
I'm just going to cook out this curd. You can see the golden colour the panella's given it.
Yeah. Massive golden colour.
Yeah,
Almost looks like caramel.
yeah, it does a bit. That's going to start thickening up when the corn flour starches start to cook.
Yep.
That'll take about 5 minutes.
5 minutes, that's all.
Yep, pretty
Awesome.
quick.
So yeah, now I've got my sweet potato. So this is going to be the chip. So all I really have to do is just get some peelings off it and then deep fry it. And it's easy, it works, adds another element to the dish and adds some crunch. So when you're pretty much looking at designing a dish, you want height, you want texture, you want flavor, you want crunch, you want acidity. It's basically getting all of those components to build the groundings of your dish. So when designing a dish or a menu, a lot of chefs will start with that, different components, and then work their way up from there. Pick what ingredients they want to use. So yeah, I'm just literally getting just shavings of this, and then I'll just put it in the deep fryer, which is set to about 160 degrees. And that's my chip.
So easy, huh?
So easy. So delicious.
Chris, I might ask a favour if I can.
Yeah, what do you need?
Do you able to take the sablé out of the oven
Yeah, sure.
if it's ready? Because if I leave this to go, it's going to turn all lumpy. I'm just going to switch to the whisk.
Looking that's ready?
Maybe another minute.
All right, I'll turn it around.
You can see that it doesn't need to be a sexy biscuit because I'm going to crumble it up.
It will look sexy.
It will look sexy.
So my potatoes are still going. I've only been in for about 5-10 minutes. Yeah, they'll take probably another 20 minutes in the oven just to make sure the potatoes are fully cooked, the flavour properly infused, and nice colour. So yeah, I've got my beetroots on the heat. They're going. Potato. My dish is almost ready.
Done. Yeah. You can see here.
That's thickened up a lot.
It's a very thick curd. I'm just going to add about 50 grams of butter.
Yep.
And just stir that through.
Okay, that's cool. While you're doing that, I might deep fry my potatoes. So I got my deep fryer set up over here.
I'm going to add 2 egg yolks to my curd as well. You want to add it while the curd's pretty hot so the egg yolks cook out. You can see it's a nice thick consistency.
Just constantly checking on my potatoes, just seeing how they're going, giving it a stir to help the mixing process of the liquid. So that's your lemon curd.
Yep, that's the curd. It's nice and thick.
Yeah.
I'm going to be folding through some Italian meringue there, but I've also got the lemon rind as well to add to that curd.
All right, so I got my chips. As you can see, they've browned up quite a lot. Just gonna add some salt to that, a little bit of pepper. I'll just sit them aside. So with the chips, you can basically just leave them for a couple of days. They'll keep their crispness in just an airtight container. So I've just got a takeaway container over here that I can put them into. So it's just a really quick, easy garnish that really adds a lot to a dish. So my beetroots aren't too far off. I'll add a little bit more water to that. So the beetroots, they already have a lot of natural colour. So it's leaked out into the water, and that's what I'm going to be making my foam out of. So the flavour will have infused into the water. I'll add a little bit of extra seasoning, a little bit of vinegar into that. And then I've got a product called soy lecithin. It's a chemical a natural chemical extracted from soybeans. And it's powder form and it helps emulsify. So basically, I'll just mix that into the liquid, put it in the stick blender and aerate it, and it will hold a foam. So it really adds a bit of modern cooking to the dish.
Yeah, it's a cool idea.
It's amazing how much things have changed in the small amount of generation.
We didn't
between
used to
me and
make
Matt.
foams
Nah.
when I was an apprentice. Okay, so you can see I've got a mousse there. That will be able to hold its shape so I can quenelle it shortly.
Awesome.
I've
Looks really nice.
Got to get a sablé on. Have a taste of it. You'll really taste the panela that's come out of it.
Get some spoons. Oh, that's really nice.
Tasty, huh?
Yeah, really good.
Do you fancy doing a chill mix?
Oh, if I have to.
Cooking a chill biscuit? How
If
much
I
you got
have
on
to.
at the moment?
Not much.
Yeah?
So yeah, I'll get the chill mix, I suppose.
Yeah, it's great.
It's a bit different, putting a bit of thyme leaves on a dessert. So yeah, a bit of dried thyme. Flavours will go nicely with the lemon. Something different. So yeah, I'll just get some silicone paper and then I'll get that started.
You can see here that my Italian meringue holds nice and firm. I'm just going to pop it into a piping bag so I can use it as part of my garnish. When you're using a piping bag, it's a bit like a puppet. Hi there, please feed me. Shove that spoon right in there and use your hands to eat the filling like a puppet, a sock puppet. With my biscuit, it looks like something that's not so fantastic, but we don't really care. I'm just going to scrunch that up whilst it's in the paper.
Here we go. So I got a disposable one.
Oh, they're a good idea.
Biodegradable, disposable, save the environment. So just put my chill mix in there and just allow me to pipe a really solid, straight, thin line so that when it cooks, I'll be able to just mold it into a shape that I want. So yeah, I've got my piping bag, chill mix inside. So we've let the chill mix come to room temperature.
Yeah.
So that's just allows it to be a bit more malleable because it's got butter in it. It solidifies when it's cold. So you just cut a really small tip off that. So you can do it whatever different shapes you want. You can put other flavors on top. You can use poppy seed if you want to do a savory one. You can use pepper. A lot of different things you can do with it. It's very just diverse.
Nice.
So I've just piped a few on there. And because they're so thin, they'll only take about 5 minutes in the oven. So I just got to cook my lamb. So with that, I've got my pan on. I've got some that I rolled up in a bit of Glad wrap just to form a shape of it. So that, I'll just open up, just help form a rounder shape of the meat. So with this, I'm just going to season with salt and pepper. So, a bit of oil.
It's such a good meat, lamb.
Oh, amazing meat. You can do so much with it, and it's quite easy to pair things with. And my pan is nice and hot. So in goes my lamb.
It's important to seal that meat, isn't it?
Very important. So sealing it is what keeps the flavour in. While that's going, I'll get my beetroots. So I need to bring that over here for my puree. So the meat, you kind of want to touch it the least amount of times as possible. Otherwise it will just toughen the meat. So I've got my puree just over here. So I've taken my beetroots out of the liquid. With that, I'm just going to blitz up a bit of seasoning, salt and pepper, and some white vinegar.
I've just made a couple of quenelles with my mousse just to give a decent shape for their presentation. You'll be able to see here that the Italian meringue is a really good piping tool. It's really good in cakes and on cakes. And it's pretty important when you're serving up dishes that they look the same because as a customer going to a restaurant, you don't want to pay a few dollars for a dish, then go back a week later and pay a few dollars for the same dishes. And you want to make sure that they're exactly the same as well. I've got a blowtorch here, which is a little exciting tool. It's really good for making the colour.
Tuile is probably ready. So with the tuile, because it's got butter in it, you can basically shape it into a shape before it cools down while it's still hot, which is what's great about it. So you can make it look pretty cool and different.
So soft, so easy to manoeuvre.
So the lamb being such a small piece of meat, it really doesn't take long at all to cook. Like really not long. That's been in the oven probably 4 minutes and it's just about ready. So at the moment it's probably sitting at about rare. My potatoes are done. So as you can see, the liquid's kind of gotten a little bit more thick because the butter's emulsified in with the stock. Potatoes have nice colour on them and they're done.
I think it's good that if you see with a bit of preparation, it doesn't take too long to cook a restaurant style or restaurant quality meal.
So with my puree, I'm just going to put it into a squeezy bottle. It's just will allow me to have a bit more control over how I want to plate it. Do a few different things with it. So that's that. So that's that. I've got my soy lecithin, which I've got down here. It comes in 2 gram sachets. You only really need 2 grams with it. This is what emulsifies and creates the foam, if I don't put it all over the bench. So it's like a yellow powder. So with this, you just want to get it on the side just to aerate. As you can see, the foam's starting to come up along the sides.
I see that down here.
Yeah.
What do you think's next for you? Have you got plans to cook anywhere or do anything next as far as your career takes you?
Australia being what it is, so people would classify most restaurants as modern Australian. Modern Australian is basically influenced by everyone, like every country, all different flavours. Yeah, so the way I see it is if we're learning from them.
I think it's awesome when these dishes start coming together, and I think it's an opportunity as well that people at home could actually find these recipes on Future Now's website. That's going to be good.
Yeah, that would be really good. Like, as you can see, like we've just done this in an hour. Like, they're not difficult recipes. They're quite simple, but the results are there. So I've just got to cut my lamb now. So that is nicely rested for a couple of minutes.
The resting of the lamb is actually going to make sure those juices are more settled and the colour and the cooking goes through the meat more. Is that right?
Yeah. Well, you want to, and when resting meat, you want to basically rest it for half the time you've cooked it for. It's just to basically let the marbling through the middle, like relax itself and settle. It's just, yeah.
It looks like a perfectly cooked lamb, Chris.
Yeah,
it's done a great job.
Quite nice.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd hope so. Like.
That looks marvellous.
So that's the lamb. Oh, then my other garnishes. So I got my potato fondant on there, my sweet potato over there. I've got my beetroots.
Oh, those beetroot look fresh and tasty.
Yeah, so now that they've been sitting in the water, basically just put a couple of them around the plate. So the candy stripes really help stand out. Get my foam, just aerate that again.
A program like this, I love it, the fact that people can actually see us and see how quickly and easily it is to make a really good, quick, easy, healthy meal. Mine's maybe not so healthy.
Yeah, so that's the foam. And yeah, I'll garnish
very
yours,
sexy.
you garnish mine.
Look here.
Chip on and...
I think that this deserves your fantastic...
And there we go. So that's our dishes. So yeah, we've got our lamb.
Sweet potato.
So it's our lamb short loin that we've roasted, sweet potato chip and beetroot 3 ways with potato fondant.
And this is my deconstructed lemon meringue pie. So with the lemon mousse, the biscuit and the meringue on top. I think they look very, very tasty. Do you want to give it a go?
Yeah, why not? All right, I'll taste yours.
Well, I'm going to tuck into yours. It looks amazing. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed our presentation today. We've had a really good time cooking for you.
So yeah, I'm Chris and
I'm Matt. Thank you for watching our Chef Ambassador presentation with a lamb full of meat.
Thanks for all of our sponsors that have supplied us with our meats, our ingredients, and Future Now for creating such an awesome program to allow us to share our stories.
The Future Now Hospitality Ambassador Program brings young, qualified, successful chefs straight from their kitchens into WA secondary schools. Our exclusive lineup includes some of Perth's best young chefs who have travelled the vet pathway and represent some of our city's finest restaurants. thus delivering the most dynamic and realistic snapshot of the hospitality industry schools have ever seen. While conducting a cooking demonstration, the chefs describe their work and training experiences, the positives and negatives of the job, their successes and goals for the future, and how they've overcome challenges. It is a not to be missed opportunity for students, teachers, and career advisors to gain valuable information on how to achieve global skills for an exciting and rewarding career with limitless opportunities. For further information, please visit www.futurenow.org.au.